Okay, awesome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to RHA Virtual Resource Workshop. This Thursday, we are featuring Office of Undergraduate Office of Undergraduate Research Ambassadors. Thank you so much for visiting Nivi, Emily, Autumn, Colleen, and Allison. We are super excited to have you all here, and I hope you all learn a lot about what undergraduate research resources are there at Carolina so that you all can take advantage of, even virtually. So yes, if you are ready, feel free to start the slide. So we have wonderful Office of Undergraduate Research staffs here. And then Bob Pleasance right here is a director and like directly managing the Office of Undergraduate Research Ambassadors. So actually the application to be part of the ambassador for next year is currently open. So if you're interested, just let any of us know, or if we can directly refer you to him, and then you can present your own research and encourage others to pursue their undergraduate research as well.
Yeah, so we really encourage you guys to get involved, whether that's becoming an ambassador yourself or attending these workshops. So here is a couple of our workshops we have coming up as part of the OUR department. Networking research is super awesome and helpful for not only finding research, but just getting to know other people, maybe exploring some of your interests. Getting involved in research is obviously a great way to get started if you're looking to maybe start into research here at Carolina. And we also have poster design, and that will be really important for our end of year celebration of undergraduate research, which is a really good time. So we encourage you guys to look into these. We also have more on our website. So please, please, please go check that out. And hopefully you'll love it.
Hi. So the Office of Undergrad Research also offers the Carolina Research Scholars Program. And so with that, what you end up doing is you have to take a couple of classes or have a couple of other research experiences, and just be able to show that you did those. And with that, you get a designation on your transcript that just says that you're a Carolina Research Scholar. So it's a kind of cool way to just add a little bit of extra flair to your transcript. So the requirements for that, so you do have to take an introductory research course to like IDST 184, 194. Those are through the OUR, super low pressure. So like don't feel like it's going to be like an extra load on you. And then take part in some kind of research. So you can either do mentored research, which is personally what I did, or you can do research intensive coursework, which we'll go over later, or you can do a mixture of both. We do attend some of our research workshops. They're super cool. I've attended more than were required just because they're super helpful. The abstract ones are very helpful, so I would really recommend those. And then you also have to present your research. It can either be at Carolina through something like the Celebration of Undergrad Research Symposium, or at like a different conference. You have some options there.
So we also offer a SURF, also known as the Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship, and it is a super cool opportunity. You basically get to design your own research project and then conduct it over the summer. I believe it's about 9 weeks and at least 20 hours per week, but you work under a faculty mentor, but you're kind of like working on your own project. And you also get a stipend of $3,000, which is awesome. And I think they award around 60 to 70 a summer. So there's definitely a pretty high chance of getting one if you apply for it and have like a solid proposal. Unfortunately, the deadline has passed for this year, but definitely apply for next year if you're interested, and you do want to spend a couple of months before the deadline kind of thinking about under which department or which faculty member you want to work on. So it's good to start early.
So the OUR also has Summer Award for research intensive courses. And this is a tuition award for students who want to take a research intensive course or research for credit during May semester or the summer sessions. So these are usually $195, $295, $395, like those classes. And there is an application for this. I think it's actually April 10th because I looked it up before this, but if you just type in SARIC and OUR, you can find the link. And yeah, it'll cover in-state tuition for one 3-credit research intensive course, and your faculty advisor will also have to submit an application for this. We also have ambassadors at the Office of Undergraduate Research. We have a lot of ambassadors that are doing research in a lot of different areas, actually. So you can go check out this page or just type in UNC-OUR ambassadors. And everyone has office hours that you can go to. They're all listed out at the bottom of the page. And yeah, we're all here to talk to you. So feel free to reach out to any of us if you're interested in what we do or just want to talk about getting involved in research.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation, or ambassadors. And again, if anyone has any questions in the previous slides, the slides will be shared with everyone after the meeting and workshop. And just feel free to put them in the chat or even contact or your department or any ambassadors later. The contact information will be shared with you all. We were just wondering, because in order to make it just a little bit more interesting and engaging, if you would like to share the name, hometown, major, and then why you potentially want to get involved in the research, feel free to share. But if you're not, it's totally fine. We have amazing intros of each ambassadors about their own research going on, so we can hear more about that. Does anyone want to share why you're interested in getting involved in research while you're in undergraduate year? From audience, for the clarity.
Yeah, I can go for it. My name's Brandon Yu. I'm from New Jersey, and I'm majoring in neuro and med-anth. So I don't know. I mean, research has always been super interesting. It just seems super cool to well, for me at least, to be working alongside these professors and stuff and creating things, finding solutions to actual problems that are going on. So I don't know. The practicality and the application is just super exciting to me.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing, Brendan. And absolutely, you hopped on really great points while getting involved at research at Carolina, which offers amazing technology at UNC School of Medicine. If you're interested in medicine or biology research, or there's UNC Neuroscience Center, Gilling School of Public Health that you can more research on the survey type, or interested in the health of the diverse population. There are literally the tremendous amount of research opportunities and technology and resources that will back you up so that you can pursue whatever potentials and passion that you have in that field. Awesome. Does anyone else want to share? If not, we can go to our ambassadors research intro. Oh, by the way, this is our contact information. Feel free to contact any of them, Bob and Boots. Both of them are amazing resources that you can, they're very friendly too. You can just reach out to them. When people hear about Office of Undergraduate Research, it's oh my God, so intimidating or so huge. I mean, no, just reach out to anyone there. People are super chill, super friendly, super excited and happy and passionate people to get you connected with the right network, connection and resources to get your foot in the research. Yes.
Sorry, I think some of our slides got in a weird order, but I'll cover this really quickly. So what I was talking about with the Carolina Research Scholar, so the research intensive courses, these are a good way to get those research opportunities if you can't find a mentored research experience. There we go. So there are options in literally every department. And at least 50% of the course is focused on students doing and conducting and presenting original research. And so it's typically numbered a number 95, so 195, 295, etc. And there's a giant master list not master. There's a giant list on the OUR website, but you can also look under like your own department. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my slide got a little out of order too, but I'll just do a quick overview of the OUR database before we move into intros. I think I'm the first intro anyway, so I'll just keep talking into that. So you can get to the OUR database at the URL I linked here. If you want to write it down or go look at it later on, that's also works. But here's just a screenshot of the page. So if you're looking for opportunities and don't really know who to reach out to, this is a great jumping off point. You can just go to the database and search for keywords, like something generally related to your interests, to gauge what types of opportunities are out there in that field. If organizations or faculty are looking for students to join their projects, they'll post about them here to make them more accessible, and then you can narrow down all the opportunities from there based on your schedule and your plans, and just go from there. That's pretty much it on this, but I also wanted to note that even if a listing looks old or expired, I would still recommend that you reach out to that faculty member who posted it, because it's possible that they have a new opportunity or they know another faculty member who's doing similar work who has opportunities. So it still could be a great opportunity to connect and make a new contact and just see what else is out there, even if that particular position isn't available. And also if an opportunity, like if a project or faculty member that you already know of isn't listed on this database, you could still feel free to reach out to them anyways and see what's going on. This is just a jumping off point for, general investigation, but that's pretty much all. Okay, yeah, so I'm Autumn Tucker. I'm a neuroscience major, a junior, from Waxhaw, North Carolina, if anyone knows where that is. It's near Charlotte. But I'm also minoring in French and computer science. So if any of those are interesting to you or you want to talk to me about that further, I'm always happy to do that. So my research area, primarily in neuropharmacology, but also neuroimmunology. I work in the Cruz Lab in the Bull Center of Alcohol Studies, which is part of the UNC School of Medicine. And right now I'm focused on studying the neurological links between alcoholism and Alzheimer's pathology. So that's been really fun.
Hey y'all, I'm Colleen. I am a biology major with chem and neuroscience minors. I work in two labs, in the genetics department and the bio department. But in the Sikelski lab, I look at protein-protein interaction. And then in the Berg lab, I help look at gene disease validity.
Third time I'm talking. So I am an exercise and sports science and anthropology double major with a food studies minor, which is a really cool minor. So if you're into food at all, let me know and I can tell you about it. And I do body composition, sport performance, and sports supplement research in the applied physiology lab under Dr. Abby Smith-Ryan. And so we're currently doing an intervention study looking at like a pre-workout and post-workout supplement. But if you're into like exercise science, and I don't know, a lot of people assume that there's not research opportunities there. So if you're interested in those, please reach out to me. I'd love to talk about it.
Hello everyone, I am a biostats major. I'm a second year and hopefully getting a minor in math as well. So I do research in genetics and also neuropsychiatry, so kind of different things. And I work in the School of Nursing at the X Lab, and specifically, I look at the interactions between different mental health symptoms.
Hi everyone, my name is Nivi. I'm a sophomore right now and neuroscience major, chemistry minor. And right now I work in a psychiatry lab called the Frolic Lab, and I work with ferrets. We do experiments involving electrophysiology. So yeah, I think this is all we have on our slides for now. But we can open the floor to questions if anyone has any. And yeah, I can probably stop screen sharing.
Thank you so much for the wonderful, wonderful presentation. big round of applause to our ambassadors. Amazing. Those were really amazing. Great preview of what we has to offer for spring 2021 semester and in annual just regular basis. Yes, if anyone have any question, it's your time to ask. It could be about department itself or to specific research to an ambassador. Sorry, I see Erin.
Yes, I have two questions. One, if you are looking to get like mentorship focused research and you can't find a mentor, like, is there a way besides the database like that y'all would suggest doing that? Like how y'all figured out or interacted with professors in a way to start research?
Yeah, personally, I just cold email people, which I think can be really effective. I mean, it can be intimidating to just like, randomly email a faculty member who's doing research you're interested in without much of a basis. But it also, if you do your research and you're really passionate about it, it can also be super effective. So I sort of came into research knowing that I was interested in neuropharmacology, which made it a lot easier. I just literally Googled like neuropharmacology at UNC and found a bunch of faculty members who were doing research in that field and just read through a couple of their papers just to see, what opportunities were out there, and just emailed a couple, just, saying, hey, I'm interested in your research. I'd love to talk to you about this further if you have time, and just going from there. That can be super effective, I think. And also just if you're taking, classes about, like, relating to the research area that you want to look into further, just talking to your professors, just saying, I'm interested in doing research in this. I don't really know where to start. Do you have any colleagues, or are you doing any research relating to this that I could sort of learn more about or talk?
Yeah, those were all really great points. And like just to follow up on that, yeah, professors are probably the easiest place to just start because you already have a connection with them. And I mean, I found my lab through cold emailing also. And if you're going to cold email people, I think a really good thing to keep in mind is to, like Autumn said, like make sure you kind of do some research on them, like what their lab's doing. And so like when you send their email, you want to seem like you're genuinely interested in their lab. You don't have like, a template that you're sending out to everyone, because professors can usually tell when you're doing that. So yeah, I think that's just an important thing to keep in mind if you're going to go that route.
Awesome, thanks. Also, my other question was, do you all think that there's a time it's like too late to get into research for those who are like seniors or anything like that?
I can kind of speak on that. Sorry. I got started in like my sophomore year, but I have seen people come into my like lab literally at every phase. Like I've seen like a last semester senior like just help out in the lab. Like we are almost always looking for like more hands to help out, especially like non-COVID times, but even now, like there's just a lot to do. And so especially if you're willing to just kind of like contribute in small ways, it's literally, we are always looking for people. So definitely not a like too late, I'm too old type thing for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the great questions, Erin. And adding on to Allison's point, I totally agree. Like, regardless of when you actually get to start the research, some people hop on it during their first year. Great, amazing. But like, if you do not, totally fine, because what lab PIs are looking for are not, like genius students who had 7 years of research experience by the time they graduate high school or something. No, that is not really what they're looking for. They're looking for the resilient students who are open-minded and willing to learn and then actually grow with the research lab at the same time. And then if that aligns with your personal passion or goal, or after you want to pursue after your graduation. That is what they're looking for. So don't worry about it. Just be genuine. Going back to your first question, Erin, if you like find the common ground between your PIs or the lab research and then your personal experiences, then it'll be just wonderful connection that you are able to make, regardless of when you hear back or what you hear back. You might not be able to get into the research lab at first, but that is totally fine. That could still remain, and you can still maintain a good connection with the professor, and potentially in the future, especially after this COVID era, they might be able to have more spots opening up for undergraduate research assistants, and then they can reach out to you because you're on the top priority list. You already reach out, so they can reach out to you back, something like that. Yes, I see a comment from Allison. Most Carolina students don't get into research experience in their first year, so don't stress. I cannot stress enough. Same, yes, don't worry about it. Like regardless of when you get in, it is totally good. Oh yes, and then early on, it is really great time for taking IDSD courses that we already mentioned. It's IDSD 184 and 194. Those are exposure and intro to different research lab that already exists at Carolina, and then the fields are really diverse. Yes, biology, psychology, neuroscience are a really huge field. A lot of people are in that major too, but also they offer different research exposure to public health and other humanities, arts, and public policy. So that should be really cool too. Yes, and research intensive courses, such as any 95 ending courses like NSci 395. Those are amazing opportunities that you can work at a lab, and then you just submit a like 10-page paper in the end of the semester, and you get a course credit and the grade for it. And then your PIs probably will give you a really good grade because they keep you at the lab because they love you. So yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity for you, and then just for anyone to mutually benefit from it. Yes. Does anyone have any other questions regarding our previous slides, opportunities, how to get involved, or anything like that? If not, that is cool. We actually ended a little early in terms of our presentation. But for our office, like for our ambassadors, because y'all like really briefly touched upon your own research. If you like to elaborate a little bit more, if you would feel like to, feel free to go ahead so that people can kind of like know what is it like to be undergraduate research during COVID time, or if you like to share your experiences before this pandemics while working at a lab in person, you would like to share, you can do so too.
Yeah, I can go ahead and also talk about Erin's question in the chat. Yeah, and her question for everyone was how COVID has impacted my research experience. Yeah, before COVID, it was very hands-on, or like it was definitely in person, and I was doing probably a lot more than I am doing now. Last semester, I was on campus, and there are a lot of strict regulations, so we can only have a certain amount of people in the lab at a time. So that might be a reason it's harder now for some people to get research during COVID. And yeah, this semester I wanted to stay home, so I have remote research. That's kind of boring. It's a lot of repetitive work if you're doing remote stuff. But I mean, I think I'm still learning, and even though it's remote now, I feel like I'm still getting something out of it.
Yeah, I also, I have my one lab is remote, but my other one is still in person and I'm on campus. So as far as the remote work, I personally still enjoy it because we're still able to do Zoom meetings and I can still talk to all my colleagues and stuff. So that's worked out relatively well. And then for my in-campus lab, we are pretty much operating like on a normal scheduling as far as I still go in every day. Which is pretty cool as an undergrad. But we're really careful with a lot of our protocols. So that includes, you're always wearing your gloves, you're always wearing a double masking, we'll wear shields on top of that. You have to be 6 feet apart. So the best part about that though, is that we are all able to still do our stuff at the same time. So, you have to be really careful and you have to operate. So it's like, okay, I'm going to be in this room for this amount of time, and you really have to coordinate. But there are labs that have figured out ways to get around that and ways to still kind of operate and let everybody get their projects done during COVID. So if you are interested in doing like an in-person lab, they are out there. So don't give up your hopes quite yet.
Yeah, I just wanted to second everything that Nivi and Colleen said. I also wanted to say that for my own experiences, because a lot of what I did before was already online, I think for me personally, COVID hasn't impacted it too much. And I think one of the kind of main benefits is that now there's a lot more flexibility in being able to like meet with my colleagues, whereas before everyone was always at like different places. So we're still able to like have lab meetings and communicate with each other. And another benefit is that we're able kind of to like do more work on our own time. So I can do work at like 11 p.m. if I want, instead of, necessarily having to go in the lab. So I think there also are a couple of benefits to having shifted online as well. So I think I'm still able to get a lot out of what I'm doing.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing, everyone. This is commonly asked question that I was able to get from the participants. How do you maintain balance between being a student at Carolina, which is intense academic works and rigor, but also being an undergraduate research assistant, and potentially some of you might have additional works or responsibilities besides that. Like, how do you maintain your balance? Could you share your personal tips?
I know for me, a lot of it was communicating with my mentor. So your mentors, your PIs, they were all college students at one point too. They know the deal. They've been through all of that. So for me, it's communicating with my mentor like, hey, I have a huge exam this week. Maybe I'll go in a ton on Monday, Tuesday, and not a lot on Wednesday, Thursday. And like that is totally okay. It's important. You're here for school. So it's important that you prioritize that. But as well as you want to have the fun of going into lab and also getting that experience. So communication is key, as well as when you're finding a lab, make sure you find one that's set for what you're going for. So when you're walking in and you're doing interviews or just talking to different PIs, let them know what you're interested in, whether that's talking to them about volunteering for 5 hours a week and starting at that and gradually increasing. That's something I did, where I started out slow and now I've gained a lot more hours as I've gotten more comfortable. Another way you can do it too is if you do 395, that counts as course credit. So that counts as some of your credit hours, which is nice, because then if you want to take 12 credit hours, for instance, 3 of those are research. And so at that point, it's not an additional thing on top of your course load, since it's considered one of your classes. But I know that's just what works best for me.
Yeah, that's something like the whole balance between school and research is something that I've struggled with a lot, because my lab it's supposed to be 15 hours a week, but like I was there for 20 hours a week last semester because there's just so much work. And I mean, I think one, like if you're getting into a position, I'd probably make sure that like you're aware of how much time you're committing, because I don't really know if I would have joined my lab if I really thought about how much time I was committing to. And so like now I can only take like max 15 credit hours of classwork, because I mean, from a logistical standpoint, I can't even fit in 15 sometimes, with like if you have to be somewhere during like working hours for like 15 to 20 hours a week, like, yeah. So I have to actually, like for my mental health, I need to just take a lower amount of credit hours every semester. But yeah, I think when you're joining a lab, just making sure that you're very aware of like whether or not you can do it, and if you'll have to give something up. Like for me, I have to like take less classes every semester, and that's fine for me because I can still graduate on time. But yeah, I think it's just a good thing to be aware of that.
I can also speak on this. So I do a lot. I like have So my work study is actually my lab position. So I got really lucky. Don't think that that's like pretty common, because it's definitely not. I just lucked out. But like I also work like a second job, and I take like a full course load each semester. And so for me, it's a ton of scheduling. So just like really like being pretty strict with yourself about like when you're going to get your homework done, and like when yeah, like just scheduling. I always have a planner on me. And then beyond that, just like thinking about like work balance, and like just being realistic. Like I think Colleen mentioned, like they have been there before, like they get it. And so just talking to like not even just like your mentor, like your professors, just being like, hey, listen, like we have like this super serious project that's like peaking this week. Like I know I do human research, and so a lot of the times it'll be like really like front heavy, and then it'll calm down for several weeks at a time. And so then just like talking to your professors and being like, hey, listen, like I've got a lot going on. Is there like any leeway, or like thinking for yourself, like, okay, if I like put off this reading for like this week, it'll be fine. I can catch up with it on the weekend, and like it'll be fine in the long run. Like giving and taking a little bit, I think, is like also something that I've had to do. And then just like making sure that you are prioritizing your mental health, because I think at Carolina there's like a tendency for us all to be like, we gotta go at all times. And like that's certainly not true. Like you have to take time for you. So like make sure that you're like talking to your friends about how hard it is sometimes, and like reaching out to like mentors and just being honest with them about struggles that you're going through, and like watch some TV every once in a while. It's okay, I promise. You'll get through it. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your great tips. Here are another question that I received anonymously. What are some of your goals and career goals after graduation? And in what ways do you think your involvement in research during undergraduate career will help?
So you can go ahead, Allison.
No, you got it.
For me, I'm actually still not fully sure what I want to do. I love research so much that I think I want a career in research, either academia or in the industry, but something research related. And I think even if I change my mind and don't go into a research related job, I'm getting so many skills from being in my lab that, I think it's going to help me wherever I go. Like, I mean, being part of a lab means like you have to work with other people a lot of the times. I mean, I guess depends on your research, but I have to work with people, and teamwork skills are important. Time management skills, that's important. Even if the research you do isn't related to your career, you'll also have mentors to help you figure out what you're doing later. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't English well right now, but I think it's really helpful either way.
I am the resident senior here. And so I don't think I'm the only senior, but I like am just in the process of like getting grad school like acceptances and denials. That I got denied, just so everybody knows, like we're not perfect and like crazy. But like I definitely think that first of all, my research experience did make me maybe look a little bit better, just because like being able to swing it is like, I worked with a lot of people, time management, stuff like that. And then beyond that, just like I think the biggest thing that research did for me was like show me the importance of research and like appreciate science. Like I have such a deeper appreciation for like being science-based or like evidence-based. And I'm like going into the healthcare field. And so like being able to say, like I've seen like the backroom view of research and like the work that goes into like doing even like a simple research project. And so like understanding the brevity of like saying that you're evidence-based and saying that like this is supported by science, like that means that a lot of work went into it. And so I feel like that kind of like has helped me. And I know that I don't want to go into research, which is actually because I did research in undergrad. I know that's just like not really something that I'm interested in. But like it did kind of helped me figure out like what field I want to go into, and like I don't really want to do research, so I know I want to work with people. So I think it definitely like helped me narrow down what I wanted to do as well.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead, Autumn.
No, you're good. Well, okay, yeah, I'll go. But yeah, I was just gonna sort of bounce off of that. I'm also not entirely sure what I want to do next. I have a pretty good idea. I'm pre-med, but I've also loved my research experiences just as much as my clinical experiences. So I'm definitely looking more into like the MD PhD route, which is of course super intense, and it's a huge decision, which is part of why I'm still a bit unsure. But a huge help while I've been deciding has been my PI, who also went for his MD PhD. So talking to him about like our common interests, like in research and in practicing medicine, has been super helpful, like on top of like our common interests, like in neuroscience. He's been a great guide through all of that. So looking at your research mentor as a more general mentor and as someone who, you know, recognizing that you do have similar interests long term as well, can be super helpful. And they are always, they're usually always a great guide like that if you're still sort of deciding what you want to do.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly say that I think that a really important skill that I've gotten from research, well, not really a skill, but more so it's kind of like being confident in yourself. I think coming in, I definitely had a lot of imposter syndrome. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate, but I think that being able to work on my own project, and even if it's like failed, and I failed so many times in my own research, but having that experience and being able to work with other researchers has really given me confidence in my ability as not only like as a student, but also in my future career goals. So.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your wonderful experiences and wonderful tips. I am more than confident that everyone in this room benefit from hearing your experiences. And thank you so much again to these wonderful all your ambassadors. So does anyone have any other questions or comments? If not, we can move on to major takeaways from this workshop. So research, getting involved in research is a great way to learn what you want to do and don't want to do. And this is major asset. And you can also develop connections and skills just by getting involved in research during undergraduate career. And don't worry about whenever you get into research position, because people join their research labs at wide range of point at their undergraduate career at Carolina. And when in doubt about anything like cold emailing, finding right mentors or labs or funding opportunities, always utilize the OUR website or the OUR ambassadors. You can literally set up an appointment with any of them that you might find interesting or relatable. You can do that. And Colleen, were you trying to say something? Go ahead then.
No, sorry, you're totally okay. I think we had one more in the chat if we wanted to talk about it. She was asking, or they were asking about our favorite part in research. So if anybody wanted to answer that. I know for me, it's like definitely being around people that are interested in the same stuff I am. So for me, I work in that biology lab and I absolutely love it because everyone there is just so excited and so passionate about it. And just like I've come to be too. So for me, it was really just like connecting with those people that like the same things that I do and are interested, and I can talk about my project and they understand exactly what I'm saying. So that's definitely very, very cool, as well as just being a part of it. I don't know, the first couple of weeks you're walking in, you're like, wow, I'm a researcher now. Like, how cool is that, right? So
I know.
Yeah, I definitely just, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, you got it.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to second pretty much what Colleen just said. Definitely like talking to other people who are interested in the same sorts of things and research that you're interested in is always super fun. When you're passionate about the same thing as someone else, you can have like great conversations about that, which is always amusing. So yeah, that would probably be my favorite part of research too, on top of just like getting results and, you know, drawing conclusions from the actual work that you're doing, which is always super, super exciting. So.
I was gonna say my favorite part is actually kind of the opposite. So it's like talking to people that don't really get my research, but trying to like being able to explain it. And like with exercise science research, it's like really weird because like we all do like super specific stuff. And so even like professors won't understand what I'm talking about. Sometimes if I'm talking to them, like if you're focused on cartilage, I talk about nutrition, and it's like super different. But I really like seeing the like light bulb moment when they're like, oh, that makes sense. Like that's things that happen in humans. And I'm like, yes, it is. And it's super cool. And so like, that's my favorite part.
Yeah, for me, kind of like what Autumn said, the results part, that's really fun. Like when you get, I've worked on 2 projects that are done now in my lab, and like being able to like see the results, even if it's not what you expected. I think doing like just the idea that like I'm trying to find out something that we don't know the answer to yet, that's really exciting for me. So yeah, that's my favorite part.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing again, everyone. I'll just put in the contact information for our department and the director of the program, Bob Pleasance. He is super approachable and he would love to talk with any one of you. Yes, so feel free to email any of them. And again, thank you so much again for our ambassadors and our audience who joined our workshop today. And then I hope you all found it beneficial. I am more than sure everyone really, really enjoyed this workshop. Thank you so much again.